So we're gonna talk about, like Aaron said, franchises that basically just don't have the gas left in the tank anymore. That maybe should put down the baton and just take it easy.
The franchise that needs to die in 2025 is the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah, Jurassic Park. You almost said the first one.
Either the first one or World.
I think World.
the latest.
I do like the third one a lot, so I'd say just keep the first original trilogy.
Yeah, third one's underrated.
I don't know. World is enjoyable. It just doesn't have the same feeling. It feels like it's a bigger.
It feels too sci-fi to me.
I have like one that's a hot take.
Ooh.
I don't know if I should start with that one or not.
Okay. I say start it. Start it there.
It's okay. Don't attack me. But what if
Welcome to Backseat Direct.
we talk about movies, TV shows, comics, and more?
We're your hosts,
Andrew
and Aaron.
We post new episodes every Monday and Thursday.
And on today's episode, we're talking about franchises that need to die in 2025.
3, 2, 1, action.
What's up, Justin? Forgot to say your name in the intro there. My bad. How you doing?
Doing as good as I can be right now.
All three of us are kind of sick today.
Yeah,
But we're
voices
making
sound
it happen.
different.
Be sure. Hope you have good quality headphones for the
Yeah,
of it all.
All right, today's episode, we're going to be talking about franchises that have just been going on for way too long.
Or who have not been going on that long but just suck.
That's true. That's a good way to look at it, too. I've been thinking of like the longer ones that like just keep going, but I guess there are a few that haven't gone for that long, but just it's their time already.
There's definitely franchises out there that should have died before they started.
Jeez.
I mean,
Andrew's on the war
He's going
path
for the
today.
jugular today.
Yeah.
I just made a list of all your guys' favorite franchises. That's all. So we're gonna talk about, like Aaron said, franchises that basically just don't have the gas left in the tank anymore. That maybe should put down the baton and just take it easy. Maybe they can do like a renewal of the franchise in like a decade or something. Ones that we think should just take a beat because they're just not as good anymore. And there is a decent amount of them because so many movies are franchises. If you haven't already, check out. We put out a video a couple weeks ago about how sequels have like taken over the box office. Basically, at the end of last year, 2024, every movie was a sequel or a remake or had some kind of pre-existing IP already. Even like the Super Mario Bros. Movie in 2023, it's like some kind of IP built this up to be in theaters, not original ideas. So some of these need to die, make room in the theaters for original ideas. We got awesome original movies coming out every year that don't get enough attention. This year, I think a really good example is Mickey 17. I think that's a movie that a lot of us are interested in. It's based on a book, but it's an original idea that hasn't been put to screen in any shape or form, video game or otherwise. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our awesome content or Justin's coughs. So, which one of you guys wants to start off first with a franchise that needs to die in 2025?
I'll go.
And to be clear, this doesn't have to have a movie in 2025. It's
Right.
something we're hoping doesn't come back.
Yeah.
So it's something that probably will.
We're talking about movies, though. It's probably not.
I feel like anything, franchise, TV show.
You
feel
got
like-
shows that you think need to be done for?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's just like maybe the ones that I'm thinking of are spinoffs from movies.
Severance.
No, that needs to keep living. Keep going, bro.
One season was enough. I've got a hot take for you guys today.
Why don't you go first?
Okay.
You seem ready to go.
Yeah. My first one, the franchise that needs to die in 2025 is the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah,
It's time.
I've never seen
it's
any of
past
them,
time.
but
You've never seen any of
I
them?
want them to die because they're just annoying.
Yeah. I feel like the first 3 or 4 were like fun, kind of campy racing movies. Into 5 is when The Rock joined, and Fast 5 I actually really like. It kind of transitioned from like the racing grounded movies into
International espionage.
yeah, like into these like action.
I've heard that's the best one.
Fast 5 I think is the best one.
I
Yeah.
think the first Fast and the Furious is good.
Yeah.
I enjoy the first movie.
Yeah.
And it's like introduces this concept of like Paul Walker's a cop who's trying to go undercover, infiltrate this group of like racers. So it's like got a kind of unique concept. Whereas later on, I feel like they're just like more generic action movies.
Yeah,
like heists and international, BS.
Yeah, they're the moves and stuff that go on are way over the top. From where the franchise first started.
What are you talking about, dude? The other week I was driving my Toyota Camry. I hit a sick ramp and my rocket boosters jetted me into space. It's really the quickest way to get from home to work because the re-entry. When you go on re-entry,
as long as you survive,
you gotta hit a ramp surface just right, and then decelerate. I gotta replace my brake pads every week, but it's the fastest way for sure.
I didn't know that you were stacked this much to have money to go into space every week in your Camry.
No, I have payments on the rocket. I finance the rocket, so I got it down to a smooth $400 a month.
400
for the next 825 months.
This is more exciting than the Fast and Furious franchise.
I haven't seen them at all.
Get my stand-up routine on Fast and Furious.
Somehow makes more sense.
I agree. I totally agree.
My first entry.
I think that's the most obvious. Like, if you're gonna do this conversation, you're gonna start there because this is a franchise that needs to die. And I don't think any of us watched Fast X.
I haven't seen any of them.
But I
I
think
think I stopped at 6 or 7.
it's probably their intention to stop. I think this was like the end or like the part 1 of the end. So if they're not at the end, then they're hitting the brakes.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a part 1.
Yeah, I think
then they just
there's minimum one more
They
coming.
made so much money. I don't see why they wouldn't make the part 2. They made $700 million or something.
Yeah,
They made like a smooth.
Yeah.
600 to 800 million, I think.
Jason Momoa was in it.
Oh, Brie Larson was in it.
Yeah,
man, Brie Larson, love her.
yeah. So that movie, somehow that franchise makes so much money. They're in the top 10 every year that one of those movies come out. So
it's like we talked about. It's like with Despicable Me or the Minions movies, where like a bunch of the characters in the Minions movie, we talk about how like you don't even listen to what they're saying, because they're just speaking Minionese.
Minionese.
That's what it's called.
Is it really? I thought you just coined it, and I was like, okay, it sounds good.
No, it's literally what it's called. I've seen a lot of Minions movies recently.
So how does this tie into?
Anyways, it's a tangent, but like that's how the Fast and Furious movies work. Is they make like 100, 200 million domestic, and then in other markets internationally, it makes like 500 million because people are like, I don't care that the dialogue is terrible. I just want to see a car fly in space.
Yeah,
and it's just fun for you don't. Yeah. You don't need to really care about what they're saying. I'm sure that the movies are translated and like in Japan they're watching it in Japanese, but I'm just saying that they don't care as much about the quality.
Yeah,
the conversation of the plot. There's going to watch a cool action movie, which is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I just want to. I can maybe like we've done enough of that, and we can do another different action movie.
Yeah. For sure.
Before the stars are geriatric,
What would be your first entry into this conversation?
Okay. I have like one that's a hot take.
Ooh.
I don't know if I should start with that one or not.
Okay. I say start it. Start it there.
It's okay. Don't attack me. But what if we let the MCU die?
No, that's fine.
The whole MCU.
I think they should have stopped at Endgame.
Like die, but like what if we like killed it and then just like revived it?
Yeah, like
refresh.
Yeah. So all the movies that are connected together, they're ending. Done. No more. Every movie coming out from now on is something not attached.
Because the more I hear about the MCU, the more kind of disappointed I get in stuff like Justin just pulled up an article before we started filming and it was saying Doctor Strange isn't going to be in Doomsday. He'll only be in Secret Wars. I don't know how much rumor mill or truth that is, but it's like, who is the A team that's going to be in Doomsday? Like, obviously they'll have to have Spider-Man. If I see an article that there's not going to be Spider-Man, then it's like
he's too busy filming Odyssey right now.
It's like,
I mean,
Doctor Strange and Spider-Man are like the two main heavy hitters we have left from the last era of the MCU.
Yeah.
Or are they even putting in stuff anymore? Because Wanda is gone. I don't think Wanda's gone for good, but she can't just come back and be an Avenger.
Yeah.
Like after everything that's happened. So
watch her.
House of M storyline just rewrites reality, and now she's a good guy again.
Like Shang-Chi, but he's only had one
movie, and he's not in place to lead an Avengers movie. You know, we need somebody who's established in that universe, the way Iron Man and Captain America were when they stepped into the leading roles.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess Thor. You know, we still have Thor around, but the Thor movies have been getting progressively worse, as we've talked about at length. So their
Chris Evans is coming back, man.
Their stock value's plummeting.
Well, I heard that.
What capacity though? Why are they bringing Chris Evans and RDJ back? So stuff like that, I don't know. It just feels to me like they have one foot in.
He's going to be like Doomsday's assistant or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw something that he's playing a different character, but it's like,
that's so annoying.
What are we doing here, man? Like you're not even bringing them back to the same character, which has more of a chance to bring people back. You're just bringing them back just as like a cock tease for their face.
They're trying to capitalize on all this, Infinity Saga nostalgia, and it really just kind of puts a sour taste in your mouth as like an MCU fan. I mean, we grew up with prime MCU years, and so we do have a lot of nostalgia for that. But like we were talking about with Deadpool Wolverine or Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, is it feels cool in the theater, and then the further you get away from the theater experience, the more it kind of feels like, was that actually a good movie? You know?
Yeah. No, I mean,
it
feels
just
like
fun because it used to be fun.
Like I love seeing Daredevil in No Way Home. I love seeing Henry Cavill in Deadpool and Wolverine. You know?
Yeah.
It was really cool to see Patrick Stewart back in Multiverse of Madness. But then when I look back, I'm like, how often do I want to rewatch those movies versus rewatching Captain America: Civil War or Iron Man 1? Like those are great the first of a couple Avengers movies, well, every Avengers movie. Real. But like those are great movies that you go back to because they have fun, awesome, genuine moments, and they had a tone that they stuck to, and it didn't feel like it was all over the place.
Yeah, and for the most part, all the stories are actually gripping. Like it's not just copy paste, or it doesn't feel just as like hey, we got to get 3 films out this year.
And the characters feel like they have their own tone, like each individual character, right? And them all having this sarcastic, joking.
It felt like there was a purpose to each movie rather than just like fan casting and like you said, like, oh, we have to get a movie out coming up.
Just feels
let's do a Doctor Strange movie. Oh, everyone wants Reed Richards. Let's cast who they want as Reed Richards.
Yeah, it's like
then we're gonna kill him, so we don't have to.
That you listen to the fans, but not in that way. You know, like listening to the fans. The Sonic route is the way to go. Yes. There was something that happened like that recently. I can't remember which one, but listening to the fans and like, hey, here's a fan cast, but we're not actually going to go anywhere with it. Especially with the way you handle him in that scene, just feels like a nice slap in the face.
Listen to us now.
No, I mean,
it's when we tell you not to do something.
I believe we had this conversation before where we were talking about if the MCU continues, is it going to like sour the taste of the Infinity Saga? You know, are we gonna in a generation, be like, hey, like watch the MCU, and they're like, no, I heard the last 10 movies, 20 movies were bad. So the whole thing's probably bad.
The more they keep bringing show
too.
The more they keep bringing back actors in different roles, the more chance it has to do that. Right. I think if they didn't bring the actors back, it would be like, oh, this is the Infinity Saga. It sits on its own. But if you're going to keep bringing every single person who died in the Infinity Saga back, you need to bring. I mean, who's next? You're going to bring ScarJo back. Are you going to bring everybody back? Because then it feels like it's
and they're all like in their 50s now.
I don't know.
It is definitely different, and like this is the natural passage of time. Like you said, as the actor's age, like that changes. You're gonna bring RDJ back when he's 70, trying to put the MCU on his back. Like
yes. How old is he actually?
Seems like mid to late 50s. Yeah.
I'm gonna say 57.
That's 59.
I feel like I'm closer than I usually am with my guesses.
Yeah. So basically 60 by the time they start filming, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah. They always look younger though. All right, so we need another franchise. We talk ad nauseum on this channel about how that is going downhill, but the Daredevil trailer looks cool. So nervous.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I don't think this one needs to die. I think they should just put their focus on specific projects like Daredevil, because that one, I can't lie, it looks really good, and I hope it is. Let's just start spreading stuff out and only do the ones that matter.
Yeah, to me, that's almost like like it could die.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm burning at the stake.
Yeah.
Man, I had another one in my mind.
What do you got, Justin?
Oh, yeah, there we go.
What project needs to die in 2025?
I don't think there's actually a new movie in this franchise coming out this year, which is part of the reason why it's hard for me to say this, but at the same time, I still hold true. Jurassic Park needs to die.
I would agree, unless
this one's great.
What?
Unless Jurassic World Rebirth is great.
Unless they finally give the dinosaurs boobies, is that what you're going to say? Aaron's always complained to me. He's like, how do I know which dinosaurs are boys? How do I know which ones are girls? Put boobies on the dinosaurs. Mm-hmm. He's always saying that.
I know. But at least they kind of listen. They put Scarlett Jo in, so that helps a little bit.
Yeah, you said just like tape her to one of the dinosaurs.
Yes.
Like that one's a girl.
Yes, exactly. What I'm actually going to say is if they kind of did not necessarily like a remake, but where it's not like solely connected to pretty much the world aspect of it, Chris Pratt's franchise, but they do like a horror version, and they really go down the scariness of the dinosaurs, and they keep it really grounded,
which is what this one's supposed to be.
The first one had those elements.
Yes.
Like the first one had
even the second one.
Elements.
It's like I love the second one. I think obviously all of them get outshined by the first one because it's just that good. But I do think the second one and Jurassic World are actually really good.
Yeah, I wish they would have stopped at Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Or even at Jurassic Park, the first Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Michael Crichton I think he wrote a series of novels. So I think there was material to go on for...
He's coming back for the new one.
Oh, that's...
Or he actually, I guess it's already written. And that's the thing is like Gareth Edwards is directing this, which is why it's like...
Puts faith in it.
Yeah, like he's great. I haven't seen anything from him that's bad.
And we know he can handle a big studio movie too.
Yeah.
Like lots of special effects. So... And then the cast, it's not just ScarJo, but the other actors from Wicked. Yeah, I think Jonathan Bailey is the other actor in it.
I'm not sure, but I know Mahershala Ali is supposed to be in it as well.
Oh, yeah, that's
Those
right.
are the two leads, which my thing, I don't remember if I said it last time I was on here, but no, I said it on McNeil's episode. I'm not the biggest fan of Scarlett Johansson, like as like a lot of people. I think she's good. I think she's good. From what I've seen, I haven't seen anything that's like floored me because I've mainly seen Black Widow, Marriage Story, Don John.
Scarlett Johansson's not good, but I've only seen Black Widow.
No, like not the movie, but like her performance as Black Widow, which I think is obviously done perfect. But like I don't know.
You've seen a lot of her movies. You said you've seen Marriage Story and Don John.
Don John. I haven't seen her, which is probably the one I need to see, but it's just the voice.
It's only voice performance.
Yeah.
What about Jojo Rabbit?
No.
I mean, she's got a really big.
She's got it. Yeah.
There's a lot.
There's a lot more I would need to see to really judge, but it's really just Gareth Edwards. That's like, and the original writer coming back. Those two things, there's like, okay, maybe this can be good, but at the same time, the last movie we had was 3 years ago, and you brought the original cast back, and that was like
3 years ago,
my least favorite movie from the franchise.
I feel like it was sooner. I'm surprised it's that long ago.
And that one should have been probably the best one of the world franchises.
It should have been because you had both casts coming together, and you just handled it really poorly, in my opinion. In a lot of people's opinions.
I stopped watching after the first Jurassic World.
Yeah, it's probably fine.
This isn't for me.
I stopped watching halfway through the second Jurassic World because it was that bad. I was literally in the process of watching the movie, and I was like, it was like, that's enough. After the mansion scene, I was like, this is corny as hell.
It's interesting, though, because that one, Fallen Kingdom, I, on a rewatch, found a lot of appreciation for. And that trilogy ended up being exactly like the Star Wars sequel trilogy, where the first one is the cash grab because it's basically the first movie except New Age. Second one takes a huge shift, just like Last Jedi. And on both of my first viewings, I didn't like them. On my second viewings, I was like, whoa, what did I miss? And the third one is just god-awful. So it's like, it's literally the same format and almost the same years. I mean, like Jurassic, there was more separation, but I mean, 15, 18, 22... Star Wars being 15, 17, 19. And I think Jurassic is Universal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's Universal and Disney that are just egging things into the ground, bro.
By the way, Velocicoaster? No, you don't need to let that die. Velocicoaster at Universal Studios.
Dude, the original Jurassic Park ride at Universal was awesome.
I love that ride.
That one.
I, like, no lie, when they open the gates on that ride and they start playing John Williams music, a tear ran down my eye. I was like, I feel like I'm at Jurassic
Dude, the part when it dropped down, I literally like pooped myself the first time I read that.
It's like a one drop ride. It's super cool though.
Yeah.
Very like cool with the little animatronics and stuff. It felt dated. I see why they took it away, but I do miss it.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Because that experience of like being on the raft and they open the gates and it's
yeah. So yeah.
I don't know if I've ever ridden that one.
You never will now. But you can. There's YouTube videos that you can kind of, if you put on those like fake VR things, you can relive it.
And then
that's exactly what I'm missing in my life.
And then me and Justin will put you in like a laundry hamper and slide you down the stairs at the drop part.
Just
bumpy water.
It's like at a calm part of the roller coaster. I'm just flying up the stairs.
Front door of the house.
It's like, watch out for the dinosaur tail.
Justin smacks you in the head. What's the next franchise that we have that needs to
Okay, this one, I don't know where I sit on whether it should die or not.
Right there.
So we're gonna talk about it a little bit. What about the Mission Impossible franchise?
Well, it is ending, so
are you sure?
I think this is the final.
I've just heard people say, I know it's called Final Reckoning, but I've just heard people say that Tom has not directly said that he's done.
I've heard that, and then also there have been in talks of like people replacing him and continuing.
Yeah. No,
I thought they'd be Ethan Hunt. They'd probably be another character in the Mission Impossible universe because you can't have someone else be Ethan Hunt.
Like Powell was rumored to be next.
Which I don't feel like Tom Cruise would be mad at that. I feel like he's had like almost a little mentorship with Glenn Powell, the experience they had together on Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel
so. Does this franchise need to die or not?
I say yes.
After 2025.
I
say after 2020. Yeah, like after this movie, it needs to stop.
Let it die.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it started as a pseudo ripoff of James Bond, and it ended up becoming just as popular, and if not like more consistent than James Bond has been. But this is like
consistent than James Bond though.
I mean, James Bond's got a lot of movies.
I mean, even like Daniel Craig's.
But you're saying it has become more consistent. So I'm thinking of the most recent Bond movies are all the Craig movies.
Yeah, I was saying it more like all the Bond movies versus like all. Yeah, like as far as reception, I feel like Mission Impossible just keeps getting bigger. And not that James Bond doesn't get butts in the seats, but you can this is just one storyline with Ethan Hunt.
I think they intended to stop James Bond or the Craig movies. I think they intended to stop at the third one, if I'm not mistaken, and then they end up going on to do like 5.
Yeah.
Which I think it would have been good to end on like a high note because what they had Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace,
which is like my favorite James Bond movie.
Mine too. Casino Royale's so good.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, their favorite is the Bardem one, Skyfall, which I feel like would have been a good one.
I like Skyfall.
I haven't seen
that. Would have been a high note to end on.
Cinematography's
that one and the last one I need to watch.
I'll look it up. I think it is for Skyfall.
Yeah.
Like the scene at the end where like the building's on fire. Oh, so cool.
Wasn't it Sam Mendes? He directed 1917 as well.
Yeah. I don't know how many of the Craig movies he directed. I don't think it was all of them, but he definitely did some. I
feel like it. Yeah. Movies. But I mean, I need to watch Skyfall and No Time to Die. But for right now, I think Casino Royale is going to be my favorite, especially after hearing you've seen all of them. But I could also see No Time to Die. I've heard that one's really good with a certain part of the fan base. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like that's how Mission Impossible started. And if they go the route of replacing him, then they're just blatantly doing James Bond.
Yeah, and then I think that that franchise has had its run, and I think honestly, if they had stopped at Fallout, I wouldn't have been mad at them. I think
perfect movie,
great high to go out on. This would be another addition to this too. Is just thinking about what movie they should have stopped at. Hindsight's 2020, you know. So like,
can we ask that for each one? Which one do you think could overstayed its welcome?
You want to like go back?
It's Fast. I was going to ask for Fast.
I would say Fast 5. After that.
And then Jurassic Park, you almost said the first one.
Yeah. Either the first one or World.
I think World.
The latest.
I do like the third one a lot. So I'd say just keep the first original trilogy.
Yeah. Third one's underrated.
Like, I don't know. World is enjoyable. It just doesn't have the same feeling. It feels like it's a bigger.
It feels too sci-fi to me.
It's modernized of the original, which is what I like about it too.
I think it feels more like, I don't know what the word, but like disingenuous, maybe more like it's made for cash.
Yeah, like I don't like the new like science aspect of it, where they like created a dinosaur and now it's like can turn invisible. And
who's gonna tell him that somebody created dinosaurs in the first movie?
I think it's cool because
I know
you have to do something a little bit different. I think that was fine for me.
Or like the T-Rex heads on the pterodactyls' bodies, like that was dumb.
Which one was that in?
The world.
Oh man, I don't remember that. Was that like a testing phase, or was that like the climax?
Don't remember. Yeah, it's at the end.
Okay, yeah, I think.
Yeah, the
I mean, you got Vincent D'Onofrio in there. You gotta have a good movie there.
They're trying to put in the Indominus Rex to differentiate it somehow from the first Jurassic Park because it's basically the same movie except like with people in the park.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the Indominus Rex was their attempt to like differentiate it a little bit more. But they did introduce cool stuff like the aquatic dinosaurs. Like I don't think the first movie had anything like that big giant. Dinosaur that eats the girl in the world. I mean, they had dinosaurs in water in the first trilogy, but not like that scale.
Probably the restrictions and being smart back then, but also didn't even need it to be what it is.
So what about the MCU? Where should that have stopped?
Endgame.
So you don't want any of the shows after that?
I don't need it.
Movies, I mean.
Yes, I'm honestly good. Here's the thing.
There's some that I like, but in the continuity of the MCU.
Yeah, but the MCU would be good as this like one Infinity Saga. If like I love Shang-Chi, but it's like if I had to lose Shang-Chi, it's not like I'd be as devastated as losing.
They still could have made a one-off Shang-Chi movie anyways, and it could have been the exact same movie.
I think the only
not gonna they just have Trevor. That's the only connection.
Just replace him.
Oh, I think the only Abomination in there too, but that's like ooh.
Yeah.
In what?
They have Abomination in Shang-Chi.
Oh yeah, they do. It was fun. It's also like why. Incredible Hulk's underrated, by the way. Especially looking back. But I was gonna say the only one I would be missing, like actually missing, is Guardians 3 if it ended at Endgame. Because I don't think you need, which I think is still stupid how they consider
you wouldn't have No Way Home either.
You wouldn't have No Way Home, but they also consider Far From Home as the end of Phase 3.
That's the very next movie that came after after Endgame.
But that's like
honestly, I could do without both of those Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, because Homecoming still makes sense and it works because you have Civil War and you have Homecoming, and then like Infinity War Endgame is
I like Tom Holland Spider-Man in Captain America: Civil War more than I like him in any of his solo movies.
Yeah,
he's not even in that much.
Yeah,
in Civil War.
I feel like if you don't have that opinion, it's kind of strange. You know,
Corey thinks he's the best Spider-Man, so we'll have to redo the Spider-Man movie sometime.
The sigh of disapproval.
I mean, he's my second favorite Spider-Man.
On 3, 1, 2, 3.
Garfield.
We all said his name in different ways. You said Garfield, you said Andrew, and I said Andrew Garfield.
And then
what's our next?
Oh, that's up to me.
Oh no, you picked one, didn't you?
Yeah, Aaron.
Yeah, I said the Mission Impossible, but we said that one should have stopped at Fallout.
Yeah,
which I'd agree with.
I feel like all the ones we've said so far is like kind of the right one.
We can say a few at the end too that we think should stay. This one I think is done, but I'm gonna say it just to be sure. Like, it might be beating a dead horse, but I think that Indiana Jones needs to die.
Yeah.
I've only seen the first and the latest.
There's
4.
He's just too old, man.
Well, there's
5, right?
4, 5, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, The Last Crusade, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and then most recently,
Dial of Destiny.
Dial of Destiny.
Yeah, he's just too old to.
Which they were supposed to
tell me that he's like, you know,
in talks to die, or like, would you guys be fine if like someone like Chris Pratt did take over, kind of like a Glenn Powell Mission Impossible?
Chris Pratt?
Yeah, because there was rumors of him becoming the new Indy for Dial of Destiny, or like a new character.
I just feel like it's just not
too soon.
I don't. Like Harrison Ford just played him like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Write a new adventure story, like, or there's other IPs like Uncharted, like Tom Holland in Uncharted. His Nathan Drake is basically Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Do stuff like that. Like you could turn a game into a movie. That's fine with me. I still think they should have cast somebody a little bit older instead of Tom Holland.
I saw Tom Cruise mention the other day that he should have been in Uncharted.
Tom Cruise. I mean, if they could have had him in there, like they could have him in there as like a villain or something.
They were saying as Nathan Drake.
I think that'd been crazy because Nathan Drake's like 30 and Tom Cruise is like 50.
Yeah, but Tom Cruise looks like 37.
He is starting to show a little bit, just a little bit.
In when he's on a movie set, he looks younger. Like because like they're putting like makeup to the max on this guy, but like you see him sometimes out of the screen and he looks older.
Yeah.
Dude's had quite a bit of filler done, and like had some of those lines removed, but you can't fool Father Time for forever. I want somebody to play Nathan Drake who can do like a trilogy, and Tom definitely can, and he's good at doing stunts. But like Nathan Drake is like he has the like 5 o'clock shadow, the beard. Like I want that. I want him to feel like he's like 35 and rugged and stuff. And Tom is a handsome son of a bitch. But like, I just want somebody a little bit more rugged, like a young Carl Urban or something,
Yeah. I think
young Kurt Russell.
For Indiana Jones, they need to wait a lot longer if they're going to like revive it. Like wait 2 decades.
Yeah, because that was 2023.
Yeah, wait 2 decades from the last movie, and then if you really want to bring it back, bring it back. Otherwise, it just kind of all blends together, and it's
2 decades. You're lucky if they wait 2 years nowadays.
I know, it's crazy.
Because when did Kingdom of the Crystal Skull come out? Was that like 2000s?
Literally, yeah. It would have been.
So it probably has been 20 years since. Because Dial came out in 2023. Kingdoms was shy, which I haven't seen yet, but I'm assuming that was like
2008. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before 2009.
It was like, what, 15 years? So that's a decent amount of time. But at the same time, a lot of people didn't like that movie either. So like, you're bringing it back with so much expectation. Like, no, it's going to be like the original. And I really like the original a lot. I've only seen it once, but that's like the only one I've seen. So that's why I have no preference. I more said it because I know you guys have seen more of them. And it's one of those highly revered, Raiders is one of the highest rated movies a lot of times when you speak to people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I sound like a different person right now.
Right now. So where should this franchise have stopped?
Indy?
Yeah.
I would say the Last Crusade. I'm not like the biggest Kingdom of the Crystal Skull hater, but I think...
So is that 3?
That's 3.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Like, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I think, is bad, but I think people kind of hate on it more than they should. Dial of Destiny, I think, is ass.
And that's the new one. I haven't seen that one yet.
I saw it in theaters, and I was like, this is the worst movie I've seen all year.
I came out in the did not mind it.
What?
I had a really good time with it because I didn't really know anything. So I was just going in with like nothing in mind,
My thing is like my not liking it. I feel like has nothing to do with my like an allegiance to Indiana Jones because I'm not like a big Indiana Jones fan. I just thought the movie, like the writing, the pacing, watching like the old man run, like it's like the Samuel L. Jackson old man run from Captain Marvel, when he's CGI'd. Like
that run,
it was all bad. Like, and I had high expectations because it was James Mangold, and I felt like the story was all over the place, and I felt like the third act was really what sunk me into hating the movie. It's not worse than The Flash, I guess I wouldn't say, but it's to me it's on Flash level. The ending is just goofy and CGI nightmare. CGI does not look great in that movie.
Oh, I got a good.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's a big one.
Okay,
Star Wars.
Kill it.
Here's the thing: kill it, but then revive it with the Old Republic stories. I saw someone else say this that they should go back to the Old Republic because they won't be reliant on any of the Skywalker saga lore. Like you have the lore of Star Wars, like the rules and laws and physics of the universe, and the lore of the origins that exist in comics and books, and you got the lore of how the Force works that you should still follow. I mean, they haven't followed that obviously in the sequels, like inventing Force healing and stuff. But you're still beholden to stuff, but you're not beholden to nearly as much because you don't have people getting upset about existing characters in their lore, like Yoda and Anakin and all this stuff. You just go to the Old Republic and you start anew, and you can cast anybody you want. They don't have to look like anybody.
Yeah.
Just
do something different.
Different races, different planets. Yeah. Like if you go back to Old Republic times, like the geography of space could be considered different in the span of like it's like a couple thousand years, I think.
Mm-hmm. And the games have done so, for the most part, done so well, and it's because a lot of them either aren't caring about, what the movies have done, or they're just taking place so far back in time that it's just like the story just ends up being that much better because no one's keeping on relying on stuff.
But if it did die completely, I wouldn't be shedding tears for it.
Yeah, I feel like we've gotten what we need. Yeah, especially recently. It's the same thing as Marvel. Like, obviously, it's Disney, so they're trying to split it between movies and shows. But I think they're still planning on doing the new trilogy with Rey, or movie with Rey. But it's like you already had a trilogy with Rey, and it literally caused Daisy Ridley to delete all her socials. So does she really want to go through that again? I don't know.
The paycheck might be a pretty taste.
But what are you gonna do that's gonna be different? And how is it gonna be different when you already have the same lead dragging that sequel trilogy into this new one? I don't know. It's just. I feel like it would be fine if I didn't see anything new.
Come back for that RDJ money. Come back for that $500 million in the Trailer City for me.
She hasn't really been in anything really.
I've
sense, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure she's been in stuff, but nothing nearly the size and scope. I'm sure she's been acting.
She's in Murder on the Orient Express, but that was early on in the Star Wars sequel trilogy, which I really liked that movie.
Yeah, I just watched that recently, but that had to have been
I think it was 16, 17, something like that. But she's only in that one. I've seen her in a movie with Tom Holland, but I haven't watched it. There was something either on Apple. She was
in a movie last year, The Young Woman in the Sea.
Okay, yes, that's the one.
Chaos Walking, that's the Tom Holland.
That's
2021. I remember being interested in that, but then I just never watched it.
Yep, same.
She was in another movie last year, Magpie. See, I'm telling you, actors don't just stop working.
Yeah, but I haven't heard of any of those.
I know, I feel like there are a lot.
You haven't heard of Chaos Walking?
No.
Clean Magpie. I've heard about Magpie.
I've heard of both Chaos Walking and The Young Woman in the Sea. I think The Young Woman in the Sea is about swimming the English Channel or something like that.
Star Wars New Jedi Order is rumored to be the next Star Wars film that'll take place 15 years after Rise.
It's just like politics. They're just if we have somebody whose face people recognize, then we can sell tickets.
Yeah.
And I'm not against Daisy Ridley. I like Daisy Ridley as an actress. I just think the cool storylines are, let's go to the past. Let's.
Mm-hmm. I agree. What about, we kind of already talked about it a little bit, what about the James Bond franchise?
No, I think for me, the one thing I do want to talk about in this, I know you're just throwing it up there as a what if, but one thing for me is things that work the way James Bond and Batman do, I'm okay with them doing cycles. Because they give a new, fresh take. Daniel Craig's James Bond movies are unlike any other James Bond movies. They have a different, grittier feel. They have a new tone, a new approach, and I appreciate that. We all love Matt Reeves' The Batman. It's on the wall, isn't it? On the wall. It's a different tone and approach than Nolan's Batman. Different tone and approach than Joel Schumacher.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Schumacher, right?
And Burton.
Yeah, and Burton. So different approaches, and I like those fresh takes. So I'm good with James Bond. If they're going to cast a new actor, I'd love for it to be Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think that'd be really cool. I know there was rumors at one point, so if they want to keep refreshing that, just keep trying to do something a little different, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I'm fine with that. I was going to say that eventually, that and Batman, and I guess Superman, Spider-Man, same type things where those characters they always work. Whether you like an iteration or not, they consistently work doing recasts every 5 to 10 years.
What makes that different?
Because it's
why does James Bond can keep going, but why not Mission Impossible? I
think it's because Mission Impossible was trying to do what James Bond did, except
in a longer scale. They're not refreshing it. It's the same cast.
It's the same story.
I know, but if we did talk about Mission Impossible kind of starting with Glenn Powell or something.
Because he wouldn't, unless he would be playing Ethan Hunt, which would just wouldn't work for me, because it's not, you have 8 movies of Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt, but there was never any inclination that this was going to be a replacement at one point.
For me, it's the fact that James Bond, whenever they started it, well before I was born, they developed this cycle that has worked for them with different actors, and that was predicated before I was born. So I'm okay with the cycle has worked. For
grandfathered in.
Looking at, and also beyond that, looking at Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible is Ethan Hunt and is Tom Cruise. I don't see how Mission Impossible works without Tom Cruise. It's based on it's become this big thing where he does the stunts, and that's the draw of the movie. The movie's stunt spectacular. So like James Bond works with these different actors because James Bond is like this mask that different actors wear, and then Mission Impossible, that's Tom Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's why I feel that way. And then the same example to like Jurassic World, where I feel like it's a little bit different. Like they could keep refreshing. They're not really refreshing. You know what I mean? Like Jurassic World is like a legacy sequel.
Yeah, it's a continuation rather than just starting all over with the same characters but different actors and different story.
Like if they did John Wick again and try to put a new actor in it, it'd be hard for me to buy another John Wick because John Wick is so wholly Keanu Reeves. I see James Bond. For me, it's well, Batman. It's like for me, James Bond is Daniel Craig. Batman is Christian Bale. But it's been worn by so many different people that like as like I look at Michael Keaton, I'm like, yeah, that's Batman too. It's just not my Batman. I look at another Ethan Hunt, I'm like, that's just not Ethan Hunt. Like it's not another actor playing it. It's just not.
I agree. Just remember about the show Mission Impossible. That was in the 60s. Yeah. So that came out like right around the same time as Dr. No came out. So I might have to take back my statement on it's like heavily based off James Bond, but I also didn't see Ethan Hunt in that cast for the show. So they just put a new character like they would do with Glenn Powell. So I don't know how to think.
I wasn't sure about that when you said that. I didn't know. Like, I mean, that could be a perspective. I don't know which one came first, truthfully.
It looks like James Bond came out 4 years before the show did. But like still,
I mean, also books for James Bond too.
Yeah.
Fleming, I think, wrote the James Bond book.
Yeah. And like the movies doing Ethan Hunt, completely new character from the original show, obviously taking it into that film world makes it very different. So I don't know. I just feel like Mission Impossible needs to stop, but James Bond can keep going. Just don't ask me further questions.
Just don't ask me for
clarifying questions.
Fair enough. I have another one on my mind unless you guys got something.
Go ahead.
What about Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah, no, that should have died so long ago. They better not make any more of those movies.
Because they're in talks, I think, to make another one with
Johnny
Depp. But then even when Johnny Depp was kicked out of Disney, they were making one with Margot Robbie.
They should have stopped that at 3. There was a trilogy, solid trilogy.
I think 4 is underrated or overhated. I don't know which one's the right term to use for that.
They're just trying to make a bunch of money, and I get it.
I'd agree with you, Justin.
But I do think that it could have ended at 3 because that's a solid trilogy right there. And now it's always hard for me to put that in a trilogy list because then they're like, oh, there's more than 3 movies. Like, yeah, but it's a concise trilogy right there. 4 is kind of like its own thing.
How do you stop something
5
when it's so good,
So bad.
I haven't seen that one.
I tried to watch it with John.
That's the last one, right?
Yeah.
5.
Try to watch it, fell asleep in 10 minutes, then try to watch it again like next week. I turned it off like 20, 30 minutes in, and then I finally sat down, I think 3 months ago, and watched the whole thing, and it was just like, I should have just listened to my past self because it was so bad. But I can't lie, Johnny Depp coming back does have me intrigued, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be that good.
That's how they fucking get you. That's how they get you.
But I also know that there's like a 90% chance that it won't be that good, and it would feel like a waste of money and a waste of time.
They're like, we're doing Kung Fu Panda 4. Jack Black's still doing it. Must be something good in the script. It's like, yeah, but also they offered Jack Black $50 million. What about that part?
Yeah.
How much does that affect your bias towards how good the script is? No, I mean, I think Jack Black, that's a bad example. I mean, I think Jack Black just has fun doing the Kung Fu Panda movies. He probably enjoys it. But Kung Fu Panda 4 was bad.
So that should die too?
Oh, yeah, that should die. A bunch of animated series should die. I think, honestly,
Despicable Me.
The Minions movies are kind of fun, though. I've been watching them a lot lately.
Not going to
lie. I'm semi-fluent in Minionese. No, but the actual like Despicable Me movies, like they haven't been good since the first one, truthfully. I did see Despicable Me 4 in theaters last year, and it was not that good.
Yeah.
I saw Kung Fu Panda 4 in theaters, too. But I think that could die. To me, the bigger animated conversation is the one I think needs to die is Toy Story.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I haven't seen any of them.
Which, that's a conversation between me and you, because this guy still hasn't seen Toy Story.
But I would agree, like, they should have stopped at 3. From what I've heard, it sounds like that should be
3 was the perfect ending.
He's like, yeah, I mean, he knows the take, even though he hasn't seen him.
Yeah, it's kind of the nostalgia sequel. You know, it came out like 12 years or something after the last one, and it told a story that felt like it needed to be told. The 4th one, not so much, and now the 5th one just feels like it's not even going to be good. Cash. Yeah.
The 3rd one it not only told a story that felt like it was reasonably needed, but it closed the loop on all the characters that we loved in such a beautiful way and had such a magnificent ending where you see like this cycle of toys and how they make children happy, and children age, and they at a certain point you don't continue to use the same toys. I mean, like, we play video games, we're adults, but I don't play with the toys from when I was 6 years old anymore.
Yeah, me neither.
But like it taught like this thing about life, and also the sentimental value of toys, or the sentimental value of items in general that have like a huge connection to your heart, and passing them on so that they can mean something to somebody else. And it had this beautiful cathartic ending that was sad but sweet, with a new character named Bonnie, and then they were like, hey, what if we shit all over that for money? Yeah. It's like, why don't we think of a new idea? We already thought of an idea back in 2000. Yeah. Was it like 1995 or something? The first Toy Story came out.
Yeah.
Oh God. That's super frustrating to me that they made 2 more movies.
What if instead of like 4 and now that they're making 5, what if they did Toy Story, but it was all new toys? And like a new family, new toys.
Way more open to that.
Yeah.
You just get to use
the name, the world of these toys coming to life.
But also the cool idea. Yeah, it's a really cool idea about how toys interact when people aren't around.
And the animation is really cool because like in the 4th movie, the animation is awesome. There's some sequences in there that are so good because of how the animation looks, but it's the story that I didn't want. But I would like to see the animation still. And the way to do that, I think, would be to just have all new toys. And then guess what? Disney gets to sell a million bajillion of new toys. And they can still sell the old toys.
They're starting to sell a million bajillion.
Hire me.
What are we doing? When Toy Story 5 comes out, their idea is to sell a million bajillion Woody and Buzz toys. And they have the mold for them already at the shop. So that's why they do that shit. But I think that is a good answer to so many of these situations, because I wouldn't feel like they're bastardizing it as much. I would feel more okay with it, and then more open to see this new story that's not like, because it's just Toy Story : like, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Toy Story : starting a new story.
Give me a trilogy, and then Toy Story : new trilogy, and then just keep it going for the rest of the time.
You still get to use the awesome idea, and like you said, we get to see that the new improvements in animation as time goes on. But then
you can be like,
world.
Have you seen the millennial Toy Stories? Those are so good.
It's a bunch of Game Boys.
What about
the Toy Story?
They're going back in time.
Can't wait for the Gen Z Toy Story.
They're going like do like prequel movies. It's just like a straw doll with like a sewn dress on it. It's like, put me out of my misery.
Yeah, you could do a lot of crazy period pieces.
Straw doll toy tries to stand and just falls over.
What about some TV shows? I have one off the top of my head that I want to ask you guys. I think you guys both like this show quite a bit. It brought up in our season draft that we did last week. What about Stranger Things?
Oh yeah,
that
kids are about to be 40.
What's the question?
Should it die?
Should
like
Stranger
right now
Things
or after season 5?
After season 5, I guess.
Yeah.
The story's not. A story should be completed by. That's the idea, isn't it? That's the
I think it's 5.
Until it does good, and Netflix is like, you know what? We got to keep this up.
What if we started making Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Strangest Things.
Stranger things have happened.
Do you think Netflix is really going to want this season? Because this season is going to probably be huge, right?
Yeah, each episode is supposed to be almost 2 hours long.
Yeah, so they're putting so much money and effort into this series. Do you think that they're going to be like, yeah, we're actually done with Stranger Things?
Has Netflix had a successful show that they've ended so far? What are their most successful IPs at Netflix other than Stranger Things?
House of Cards.
They ended
But
that.
I think
I don't know if they ended that. I think
Kevin Spacey ended
Kevin Spacey ended that.
Good job, Kevin.
I know You has been really popular.
You is supposed to end
another season.
It's supposed to end.
Like
it's supposed to be the last season come out this year.
There's a couple others.
Even You, I feel like could have stopped after like
season 2.
Even after season 1. I mean,
man, what's the other Netflix?
I didn't like Love that much.
I mean, Squid Game successful.
Oh,
that's not a Netflix original though.
What
is it? Squid Game?
Yeah, it is.
Now it is.
Yeah, but it's not done.
Yeah, I think it will.
That's a good question. What have they finished?
Yeah,
I
could easily see them doing
a successful show. You know, they've obviously had shows that have been canceled.
Yeah. I mean, I think Outer Banks is coming to an end.
Yeah, season 5 is supposed to be the end. Which 5 seasons, that seems perfect.
Squid Game's about to end, but they're not going to let it die because it's. And then Arcane ended, but like both those shows, I think are going to have spinoffs. Like they've had a lot of talk about Squid Game, like American spinoffs for Squid Game, prequel spinoff for Squid Game. So all these shows aren't really dead. You know, like they don't really let much die while it's still popular.
Have you see too that Netflix is raising their prices?
Yep,
bullshit
again.
And
how many times are they going to do that?
They got 19 million more subscribers or members the last quarter or something. And they were like,
Netflix on its
let's raise the prices now.
Netflix on its own costs just as much as my Apple TV Plus membership with my Disney Plus Hulu membership. Like all 3 of those is the same price, if not a tiny bit cheaper.
Than Netflix, like honestly, when they put a new drop out in January every month, but at the beginning of the year, I think they have like a bigger drop. And they put out a bunch of stuff. I'm like, wow, Netflix has great stuff right now. But then I watch everything that I wanted to watch in like 2 weeks. Like, I watched Inception and like a couple other movies. So I was like, now I'm scrolling through Netflix and I can't find anything that I want to watch.
Yeah. They almost come out with too many original movies and shows to where it kind of just gets watered down, you know, like Prime and Apple. Like I feel like they have like a few like really good shows, you know, but they don't have a lot of just filler shows that are original, you know? So yeah, Netflix is getting out of hand. I do like the interface of Netflix quite a bit.
Why can't anything dude, trying to I've been using Apple lately because I'm watching Severance, and it's like every time I have to fast forward, I'm like, no.
What do you mean?
It's not good. You have to like, it's the fast forward thing. Netflix has like the.
What kind of remote are you using?
PlayStation.
Oh.
His mind just was blown.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that as an option.
Not everything is optimized for like gaming consoles, and that's a big part of the problem. Like Paramount, is it Paramount?
Paramount's not optimized for any viewing experience.
It's so shitty. I have to imagine it's better on PlayStation because it's literally like I'm going to war to watch something on Paramount. I feel like if I'm in the middle of watching an episode, it's like, oh, sorry, problem occurred, close out, and then
or like you'll finish an episode and then we'll start an episode to a different season of show.
And then you want to find your episode. It's like hell on earth. You're like, where do I find season 34 of Survivor? It's not responding to me clicking the button. I got to scroll down to the specific season from season 1. Then I got to go down to episode 12. And it's like not marked where I was in the episode. So now I'm like, fuck, I got to fast forward again. And it's terrible.
It's tough.
Well, as much as it's been a joke over the past year and a half of me sending you Apple TVs, it literally... I've never experienced anything bad on any streaming platform like that. It's so easy to operate all of them.
Must be nice.
It's like,
I mean, I haven't experienced like
the worst one
system error. I've experienced like the apps problem.
Yeah.
You know, like
I think it might be because it's an Apple product, and obviously that's the first one that the developers go to make it streamlined.
I don't know. I feel like Apple will be fine on my Fire Stick.
It might be, but for me, like going back to what you're saying about Apple, like that's my favorite platform, and
have good shows.
Use interface because it's literally on an Apple TV.
Do you not have to like press it until it goes to like ×4 and like wait till it gets there?
No, if I click on the right side of the remote, it goes forward 10 seconds. Same thing for the left, or I can just tap and swipe because it's like an iPhone.
Oh, so it lets you like scrub to where you want to go. See, like that's nice.
Yeah,
that's great.
And it does that for all of them besides
You could definitely do that with a controller. Max. Come on, Apple.
I've got to like put up the times for, and then I'm like, oh shit, I went too far. I'm seeing stuff.
I've done that before, and that's annoying because then you click it one too many times, and then it lags, and then you're all the way on the next episode, and it's just like, oh, come on.
Any other TV shows that you think should die this year?
I mean, I think they should stop making Walking Dead content.
Ooh, that's a good one. There's a lot of Walking Dead stuff.
I can't agree because I'm watching the Daryl Dixon show right now, and I just watched the Rick Grimes show, and I just watched the Negan show.
Maybe 3 shows.
But like all 3 of those shows have been great, and they've been better than later seasons in The Walking Dead.
The comics, the comics have been so far removed from where they are in the story. They've done so much that's not even part of the comics, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but like there's a Maggie and Negan show. Like that's stupid.
It's freaking awesome, dude.
Maggie,
I've never read the comics, so that's my positive because I don't have anything to like worry about in that sense. Whereas you have read them, so now you're always going to think that, you know?
I do think that at some point, though, there is too much. You know, like I watched the first 3 seasons of Walking Dead in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then I got tired of it. Not because I didn't like what I was watching, but it was just a lot. So I can't imagine having to finish the 7 more seasons that I have.
He's got no TV stamina.
That is a huge thing.
There's no 2000s TV stamina.
Because, like, you know how much I love watching shows, but also movies. But, like, I can watch a show for a long time. Like, my brain is just built like that. And I know that people are different. Like,
I got a TikTok brain, man. I can't watch the same thing for that long, I guess.
Because, like, I would rather... A lot of shows we watch are like episodes are longer than an hour. So it's like we end up watching 3 episodes in one night. That's 3+ hours. And someone's like, why don't you just watch a 2-hour movie? It's like, I don't know. I feel like I can get more accomplished watching 3 episodes than 1 movie. You know, I'm built that way, which is why I love the streaming content.
Different.
But I don't get to watch as much movies. But I don't know. Walking Dead, you obviously know I love that show, but the spinoffs, 2 of them have sucked terribly, but those are done. Like they stopped those. One of them went way too long. The other one they stopped at the right time because it sucked.
Name names.
Fear the Walking Dead should have ended at like season 3, but it went on to 8 seasons. And yes, I watched all of it because my OCD.
Yeah, but why would you want to watch The Walking Dead when you could watch Fear the Walking Dead, which has none of your favorite characters?
I mean, a couple of them became some of my favorite in that show. Like I wouldn't put them above Rick or Michonne or Daryl or anything, but. Like Nick from Fear the Walking Dead is awesome.
Favorite in that show.
But like, I mean, like that's the thing. I mean, like I don't know how to compare.
I feel like you proved his point there. I was going to let you finish.
Not my favorite above any of the characters in The Walking Dead.
No, I said I wouldn't put them above Rick, Michonne, them.
Name like 5 characters.
But he was like, okay, never mind.
What was the point, though? I want to know.
Because he was saying that. Instead of watching The Walking Dead with all of your favorite characters, watch this sideshow with characters that you don't like as much.
And then you said you liked all the characters in The Walking Dead better than your favorite characters. And
yeah, because I grew up with Walking Dead. I mean, it's the same concept we were talking about with Toy Story. Like, why don't you just do new toys? No one's going to want to watch that, you know? But maybe there is people that are watching new toys and they do like them, but they're not going to like them as much as Woody and Buzz because they grew up with them type situation.
So you're saying put the Toy Story characters in the Walking Dead universe.
Yeah.
Do you think that
I think Woody
develop a taste for? For plastic and.
I'll say
the toys just go around like making noise and killing people because they're moving.
Who came first, Rick Grimes or Woody? That's my last statement.
Woody came first.
Who's based off of who?
Woody came first. That's inappropriate.
Walking Dead: The World Beyond. That is. Oh, that's such a bad show.
You heard of some of these.
Exactly. That one's bad. But the new ones, Daryl, especially the Negan Maggie show, and especially The Ones Who Live, those 2, I love. Like, I can't let those go.
I can't deal with Maggie and Negan. That's enough. But I have 2 questions for you guys. One, let's ask Justin, do you think that the Lord of the Rings should die?
I think they should keep going with Rings of Power, so I guess that's a no.
It was really bad.
Yeah, season 2 was so much better than the first season. Episode 7 of season 2. Episode 7 of season 2. Episode 7 of season 2 is one of the best episodes of television I've ever seen. And And yeah, I've talked to quite a bit of people on that.
You also like the Penguin more than the Batman, so I can't trust your opinion.
It's my opinion.
I know, but I can't trust it.
It's like I'm not the only one
off from my opinion.
It has an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
the show or season 2?
Season 2. So maybe people have more favorable opinions of season 2 than I had thought in my mind.
It's because season 2.
Is there 3 seasons?
The third one's coming out soon.
Yeah,
They're supposed to do 5. Jeff Bezos said, which this is the only case that I'm completely fine with the situation happening. He said, I don't care how many bad reviews the show gets or how many good reviews it gets. I'm making 5 seasons and you can either watch it or not. And I was like, let's do it. Because I'm in. I think
it's kind of middling a lot of that. So the episode ratings are 7.0, 6.3, 6.8, 7.2, 7.1, 7.8. So it's not like nothing insane.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of hate, especially when it was airing.
Yeah, I heard the orcs were like really down, like
it's just
over-hating it. They were trying to review bomb it.
It's just dumb. I don't know.
It was a joke.
Oh, I missed it. But like
I said the orcs were review bombing.
I didn't even hear the orcs. It's just one of those classic cases of like the Star Wars thing. Yeah. It's like the toxic fan base where now it's coming out of the same people that hate on The Hobbit are probably the ones hating on this because they're original trilogy purists, which there's a time and a place for that. And this is not really the time and the place for it because it's just
I don't watch Rings of Power, so I'll take your word for it. But I heard that the Hobbit movies weren't as good either. So.
Yeah, I put Rings of Power over the Hobbit movies, but I also think those are overhated, but they're nowhere near the originals, obviously.
Let's do these last 2 real quick because I have 2 other ones in mind. Planet of the Apes. Kingdom, not nearly as good as the last 2 we got before that with Matt Reeves.
I'd be fine if it stopped. I really like the first 3 a lot.
Well,
so
the most recent one.
Yeah. And it would be cool to see more stories in that world, but that 4th one there just I didn't like the direction that they're going with it. So if they're having to continue that storyline, I don't want it. If you asked this question before that 4th one came out, before Kingdom came out, I think I would say, yeah, let's keep going. Give me a new trilogy that's in this world, but don't make it like that.
These last 2 questions have been targeted for one of each of you. What about this one? I keep thinking of them. What about John Wick? We briefly touched on.
That's one that I wanted to bring up.
They're doing Ballerina this year, which I think Ballerina looks really
I'm fine with
it. I'll let Justin start. What do you think?
I mean, if they focus on doing new stuff like Ballerina, then yeah, I'm fine if he stays alive. I don't want to see another John Wick movie. I want to see something different a la Ballerina. So I think it could stay alive. And I think it could still be really successful for like another at least 2 to 3 movies.
I think the Assassin world with the Continental and everything is really cool. It's a bummer that the show didn't pop off.
I want to watch that show. I just don't have freaking. Why they put it on Peacock?
Yeah, Peacock. It's like they're like, I can't believe the show failed. Put it on Peacock. I don't understand. Nobody's watching. Nobody has Peacock.
I know.
But I think it's cool if they're gonna refresh. Like, let Keanu do his thing if he wants to be done. Let him retire. And I mean, he's coming back in Ballerina, so I guess not. But Ballerina, I think, looks really cool. Like Honor the Artemis, I like. You could do any number of assassins. The assassin world is cool. This world where they're like paying in gold coins and stuff. They've got gold bars and everything. They got rules and they got Continental. And so there's all kinds of cool stuff in that assassin world they created. You could do all kinds of unique stories with assassin. So I'd be down for them to keep it alive. I think maybe stop like milking John Wick himself, but keep the John Wick world alive.
Yeah. Very poor choice of words. Stop milking John Wick himself.
Yeah, you can milk anything with nipples. Can you milk me, Falker? I've got nipples. Okay, and then what about the alien world?
That was on my list. I don't know. I mean, like I didn't need Romulus, but I thought Romulus is one of the best ones.
That's the problem. I would have said
Romulus is the best one.
I would have said kill it with fire if not for Romulus.
Yeah.
And then I watched Romulus and I was like, damn, maybe I do need more aliens.
Because
Romulus was so good.
Just give me more Romulus movies.
It was really good. I think I would go Alien at number 1, then Prometheus at number 2, and then Romulus at 3. I love Prometheus. I really don't understand why. I had to talk with Shas a couple days ago about it, and he was telling me some stuff about Prometheus, and he was like, yeah, Ridley Scott came out to purposefully say this is not an alien movie, and then it comes out and it's like, oh, it is an alien movie, it just didn't have alien in the title, which is part of the reason why a lot of people hated it from Jump Street. But I don't know, I watched it like a couple of years after it came out and never had seen the other ones, so again, I loved it. I didn't care.
It feels like he wanted to make a different movie, but the studio wanted it to be an alien movie, and they were like,
I just thought it was cool, and it gave us the whole, classic film trope of the Prometheus way of running away from a giant structure. We wouldn't have a lot of other movies without Prometheus, so
I think that
one of the coolest trailers I've ever seen.
This is one I'm more hesitant on because Romulus was so good. It's like, if they're going to be that good, I can watch some more. I don't need a TV show. They're doing Alien Earth.
Yeah.
I don't need that at all.
Like doing Prophecy or something.
I don't like when franchises mix mediums.
Are you kidding?
And they're in the same continuity.
Aaron wants all the mediums segregated. That's crazy.
Yes.
Okay. I was about to say, are you kidding me? But then Marvel exists. Yeah, but I think DCU is doing it the way I wanted to see it done, where it's one actor across all platforms. You have Frank Grillo voicing Rick Flag Sr. in Creature Commandos, incredible. You have him showing up in the movies, incredible. And then he's also going to voice him in the games if there is a game with him.
Because that bullies you into watching the shows.
If they're good, then yeah, I'll watch it. It's just when I watch a couple MCU shows and they just are not good, then it makes me not excited for the movie.
I just see the complaints about it, but I am enjoying the DCU so far. I love Creature Commandos, so
yeah.
I don't have any complaints about the DCU. I just think that can be a challenge to
it can be.
Yeah, even the Batman. The Penguin was in the Batman. Now he has his own show. I didn't finish it, and the Batman's my favorite movie of all time right now. I don't care about, I don't want to switch mediums and focus on side characters and stuff. I just want...
He's not a side character, though. The Penguin, I've already voiced my opinion on the Penguin. No, he's not a side character. The Penguin is one of the 4 classic Batman villains of all time.
What did you just say?
One of the 4.
Of what?
Of all time.
Of Batman villains.
Yeah, villain Batman is not a side
character that all of these other characters are under.
Is Joker the side character in The Dark Knight?
Yes.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
You could argue The Dark Knight is a Joker movie.
Let me ask you the question: Who would you call the main villain of the Batman?
Riddler.
So then Penguin would be...
Yes, but he's not it's not like Calendar Man showed up and he's getting his own show.
But
it's Penguin.
Even the
but the question at hand is he a side character? So if the main villain, and you can't have...
In the movie, he's a side character.
There you go. That's
when you say side character, it's Penguin, though. It's not... You have all of this stuff from the past that is the Penguin.
But I don't like when studios take this main storyline, we're following this main character, and then whether they're a main character in their own right or not, but they're not the main character of the franchise, I don't want to watch a show of that character. You know what I mean?
It actually does connect with the story. That's what's cool.
But I don't care.
It's fine if you don't care.
You know what I mean?
But in this situation, that is one that's actually done very well. I don't think that's debatable.
I don't think it's even necessarily always about the framing you're giving it. Because the Adam Eve special, you really enjoyed that, didn't you?
I haven't watched that. And I don't think it will.
Yeah, but that's not a whole season of television.
It's like a side character that got this, it's basically a movie. It's a really long episode.
I feel
it's good. And it's just building up that character. It doesn't have marketing.
I feel like that's different, though, because I didn't watch an Invincible movie and then an episode of Adam Eve. I watched the episodes of Invincible and then this episode with Adam Eve in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I feel like if you care, it's like a smaller version of it, because it's a commitment. But I feel like if you care about the character enough, it works. I feel like you just don't care about the Penguin enough.
Yeah, which is fine. But
I can't think of any other character in the Batman world that I would want to watch a TV show for.
I mean, Robin. For me, if they put I'd watch a Robin show.
I'd rather just him be in the movie.
Yeah, but
I mean,
I don't know.
Anyways, we're getting into a different conversation here. Do you have a?
I said I had 2 more and I give 3. So
okay.
Oh, I didn't remember. It's hard for me to even think of any more, but I already know we talked about it a lot.
Yeah, I feel like this is a good place to end then.
It's been so many different ones, and I needed to go to sleep.
I need to go to sleep. Andrew is tapping out.
Video game movies, that's a franchise. Should they die?
What do you mean?
That's like a genre.
A genre. Movies. Just call it. Should video game adaptations die?
No.
Like video game adaptations?
No.
Okay.
Too many good video games out there.
There are, but the translation sometimes doesn't.
They made Cyberpunk into a TV show. That was freaking amazing.
Oh, the anime?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got
Arcane. The Last of Us.
What's Arcane?
Last of Us was great. Has been great. I didn't like it.
All right. What do you guys think? What franchise did we miss that needs to end in 2025? Let us know if you agree with any of the ones that we talked about or disagree. Also, do studios need to make spin-off shows of these characters from movies?
I think it's funny in situations like this, we always say, let us know if you agree or disagree.
Yeah.
People do not need to be invited. They're so ready to come and be like, you are the stupidest idiot I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yapper alert.
Well, you know just in case they need that little bit of a push.
You know that hot takes post I did like a week or 2 ago?
Yeah. Someone
just commented on it yesterday, and it made me chuckle because they were like, can you please ban TikTok again? I was like, okay, that's funny, but it also hurt.
That's good.
Like,
that's good. That's good. Thank you so much for watching. We post new full episodes every Monday and Thursday. Make sure you hit that subscription button and notification bell so you don't miss any of our content coming out. Justin, thanks so much for joining us. You can also find us on all the social media platforms. Our Discord is linked in the description of this video. Justin's in there, Andrew's in there, I'm in there, and a bunch of other of the guests on the show have been in there, and some of our friends and people that we've met online like you guys. If you want to join in on the conversation where we talk more in depth about movies, shows, video games, and kind of expand these conversations that we have here, you can click on that link. It's expensive, but like, that's just the way it goes, you know. And then, unfortunately, we'll tell you the price. Right? Andrew, how much is it?
I only know the conversion rate in pesos.
Okay, we'll tell them.
If you have to put this into your phone, pesos to dollars. Lately, it is absolutely
free. Yep, totally free to join. Even Justin can afford it. And he's in there.
It's rough around these parts.
So again, thanks so much for watching, and that's a wrap.